Hello, my friend. Question for you. Do you ever feel like you have too much to do? Like you're stretched thin, right? The world is constantly telling us of all of these things that we supposedly need to do. I feel all the time like there's way too much to do. How am I going to get it done? All at the same time. And all of this. And so I wanted to share with you, because on Monday night I led a meditation on how do we manage time and feel balanced, and what has been helping me. My name is Avital, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm known as a healing breakthrough facilitator. And what that means is that I'm helping people connect the dots towards the results that they know they want and deserve and just aren't sure how exactly to get there. And I have been able to, you could say, manage time enough or stop time enough that I have gone on trips for a few months or even a year, or lived in a yoga community up in the mountains, like away from normal life, hi Joe, for almost 7 years. Being able to just let go of all of these demands on us. And what is it that contributed to that? And on Monday night in the meditation group, I shared quite a few tips, but there's one of them that I wanted to touch on here that I just find really, really fascinating to consider. And it's actually inspired by a talk that I listened to recently from Marianne Williamson. And what she was mentioning is that not all ideas are ours. Not everything that comes up is ours. And she was referring as an example to Amadeus Mozart and I think Sarielli, because he might have, or at least the perspective is that he might have been trying to be the type of composer like Mozart, but his genius was elsewhere, and it probably just caused him a lot of stress to compare himself to Mozart at all, because the idea of what Mozart was doing was only meant for Mozart. And so just considering all of these ideas that come up, are they meant for you or are they meant for someone else? There's a lot of ideas that come to me. I'm a very creative type of person, and I'm always looking for how do we create solutions for the challenges that come up, and maybe just somehow I'm listening, so I hear these things. But there's a lot of them that come to me that I'm like, I don't think that that's really meant for me to do. And what I tend to do is just speak it in conversation with people in case it triggers for someone else the idea, and they're the one that is meant to do. So there's no attachment. I don't know who it's meant for, but it's really listening to not just the idea that's coming to you, but like, is it meant for you, and is it meant for right now? So just because something appears doesn't mean you're supposed to do something with it. Now, it's important to pay attention because sometimes it does. But sometimes it doesn't. So it's really creating that discernment and our intuition, which we can always work on in meditation, of how do we understand the difference between those types of things. And of course, sometimes like something is not meant for you, it's just on a practical level, like there's somebody else who's an expert in that area or who does it better, who you could delegate off to. I love this idea for business, being an entrepreneur, that the only things you should be doing are the things that only you can do. I am the only person in my business who can give this Facebook Live by Avital Miller of the thoughts that she's thinking and directly share her energy. Now, I could train other people on some of these ideas at some point, and they could also be delivering these messages. They can't deliver it in my name with my exact energy. You know, that will never happen. They can't replace me in that way. And if my mission is really to share myself and my energy, I have to be the one sharing. I don't have to be the person who, so this is what happens is I'm doing this Facebook Live for you right now. And then some of you might be watching this later on YouTube, because I have an assistant who is just saving the video and putting it on YouTube for me, right? There's somebody else who can do that. I don't need to be the one to do that. I just needed to be one who created the content and shared the content on this video. And then this is something else also to consider about when something is meant for you. Is the timing meant for you? Is it someone else's timing? Right? So a lot of times there are deadlines that are brought up, and I do this for other people as well, because that would be good timing for me. And sometimes it helps motivate people to take action if you tell them there's a deadline sooner. Because if you leave it, it's like you'll always keep leaving it. You'll never do it. Like, you're always busy. There's never really a good day to do something. So kind of, if you want to do it, you need to make that commitment right now. So there's a lot of reasons why people are setting deadlines, or they're just thinking about, well, if you do this by this date and this by this date. So I had a charity event a week and a half ago, and one of the people had fraud in his bank account and he wasn't able to give his donation. I wanted to divide up all the money and give all the donations, and pay the people back for their services that they provided a week ago, and do everything at once, and that would have worked well for my timing, and it seemed appropriate to just offer that money back right away. But I didn't have all the money on hand, so I made sure the people were paid who needed to be paid. But then I realized that everyone's been fine with the fact that it's taking an extra week or two to actually offer the donations to the organizations that we've been, promising that we're giving the donations to. So that was like a timing that you could say I wanted to happen, but it wasn't working for reality out there. And somebody else might set a deadline on you, and really just consider that just because that deadline is there, do you have all the information you need to make a decision? Do you have the space in your schedule and the priority in order to make a decision? So we don't always need to reshuffle things if it doesn't match our priority in a certain sense. And see if somebody else's timing is flexible, where there's flexibility there. And if there isn't flexibility, then that could go back to, maybe it was not meant for you, and it's really, that opportunity is meant for someone else. I know there's a lot of times, like they say, like, don't miss the opportunity, act quickly. But if it's not the right timing, just consider that it's okay. There were two really great speaking engagements that when I was offered them, I said, no, I'm working on a book this year, that is my focus. I can't do that right now, but definitely keep me in mind for future. Lo and behold, the following year they invited me again, and I was able to go do it. So we don't always miss every opportunity just because we're not meeting somebody else's time. So again, we're going back to a greater sense of our intuition to tune in to what is the appropriate thing for you to be doing, what is the appropriate timing for you to be doing that. If you're curious to hear the rest of the tips that I shared in the meditation on Monday night, it is recorded. It's saved within the membership program. So you can look at more information on that at avitalmiller.com/members. I'll put the link in the chat below the video. And then also, if you want to work directly with me so that you can get more specific into the challenges that you're personally facing and how to overcome them, then you can set up a free 15-minute consultation with me, and then we could talk about what would be a good game plan for you. And that you can schedule at talkwithavital.com. And if you liked this video, please go ahead and hit like on it and share it with others so that they could take advantage of creating more space. Imagine if you have more time and if you have less stress about time, what that is going to gain for you and what that's going to gain for other people in your life. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.